4 dumb, stupid builds that make me come. Let's go. Okay. So, I have a lot to talk about with Uriel, but I have a lot of positives and a lot of negatives, and I wanted to let a friend of mine go through the negatives, because I think he is the one that was crashing out a lot more than I was over this character. I'm gonna start by saying Uriel is insane. He's a really, really powerful frame, but the second you start to look into his mechanics a little deeper, you'll realize that he's really frustrating to build for. So I'm gonna let Ignis take it from here, and he'll explain a little bit of why that we're both frustrated at this frame, and why building for him has been so weird, and why I'm not very high on him as a frame in general. But here's Ignis.
Okay, so let me just try to like say everything out that like we've been talking about for the last literally 2 weeks. Like ever since Uriel came out, he's so fucking annoying. Like he's just so mid when it comes to like build complexity. And a big part of that is because he has like 5 different mechanics and all of them don't work with each other. Let's just go through his abilities. So his passive, these things don't have moddable range. So like you have to be within 6 meters of an enemy for the chain to even like latch to things. If I walk up, I have to like be this close before like the chain even does anything. And then even if I build like a fuckload of range, like this won't really extend the chain range. So you could literally dump range and this would do the exact same shit. This latcher guy, the only way for you to really get energy back on him is with the latch. And so you have to follow this guy around. And so if you're, bullet jumping through a level and you leave him behind, he's just back here. And it's the same with like the drops too. Like if I just kill this guy and he goes and he makes the orb, right? I'm already over here. I'm like 20 meters away already, and you have to turn around and then come back and get this thing. And then the base duration for this is 10 seconds. So I just spent 3 to 5 seconds turning around, went to go grab the thing, and then turned back around to run and go kill the next enemies because I had to run backwards to get to him in the first place. Already the side ammo is like not that useful because I have to explicitly go find it. And then if I find it, then I can go and I can play the video game and like do an exterminate mission, right? In general, like you tend to ignore the side ammo and you kind of pick it up on accident. Like that's the only way that it really happens. Or like you're in a survival situation and then it's like, okay, I guess. But because the range of these first 2 abilities is like so short and you have side ammo, you kind of want to be using like a weapon that's like really, really close range. But then your 4 has the longest fucking range in the entire game when it comes to like huge AoE nukes. And so if you're playing vanilla Uriel and like just trying to use him as a caster frame, then really what you want to be doing is you just want to be pressing 3 like this over and over again. And then once you actually have your 4, you press 4 and then it kills everything. And then you never even use the side ammo in the first place. Oh, and then on top of that, all of these abilities are doing heat damage, right? And so because they're doing heat damage, it reverse heat inherits all of the weapons from your side ammo anyways. So like the side ammo is like the least thought out part of this entire ability kit, in my opinion. I swear to God, the only reason they chose it was because it puts a heat symbol next to your gun and it looks cool, which is okay. That's a good reason to do a buff, I guess. Like if it looks cool, then it's honestly like rule of cool, like fuck it, let's do it. But I do think that like because of the way heat functions in this game, like heat side ammo is like easily the least useful version on him. And so you don't even want to build heat weapons or like heat on your weapons when you're using him, because if you do, then you don't even get to use the heat mods on the DOT. So you kind of just want to build like raw damage. And if you're building raw damage, then you kind of want to build blast. It just like all goes in a circle. His minions want you to use melee weapons, but his side ammo makes you want to use ranged weapons, and his abilities make you want to cast, but you can't cast your 4 all the time. It's the
Alright, now that Ignis has done that for me, let's talk about the Joe Biden Uriel build. Essentially, what this build does is it's very max range. We have high strength, we have 1 equilibrium shard for our energy sustain, arcane Kamisato, and augmented. Essentially, the point is to snapshot as much strength into Roar and do Infernalis, which Roar makes Infernalis double dip, and his 3 does not. And then we just aura stands next to enemies and they die. So let's snapshot. We'll get some Kamisato stacks, press his 3, cap out again, or press his 1, I mean. And then all of these enemies will just die by us standing next to them. And if we're fighting, let's say, the Orcan Battle Group, which is a good mix of enemies, we'll notice that these enemies kind of just die really quickly in general. The Bombards being a little bit tankier, but still dying regardless. And that's it. That is the gist of it. Obviously really fast because you get to play Uriel with his 1 being really goofy and having quite a bit of movement speed. It's very good for like low-level exterminates, low-level Fisher missions, so you can actually use it for that. We did test Roar double dips on both the heat dot on his 1 and the chain, whereas the vulnerability from his 3, Demonium, only double dips on the chain. So Roar ends up actually being a higher damage increase for his 1 than the 3 is. We don't really plan to use the 4 that much, considering all we're doing is just running through the mission. But yeah, that's it. That's the whole build. Next on the list is Bank Gyre, where she's juggling your balls. Essentially what this build is it is as high range as we can get, a decent amount of strength, some duration to make it comfortable, and then we run Arcane Aegis for our survivability, Brief Respite for shield gating, and then Cathode Current and Tesla Bank. Now, the reason why Tesla Bank is cool in this build, and we'll show it with some paused AI here. If I throw these balls at an enemy and I kill this guy, it will explode and deal damage to literally every enemy here. Well, what's something that Gyre likes to do anyways? That's right, kill enemies. She likes to explode enemies really, really well with her own abilities, which, because of the cathode current augment, actually triggers additional cascades off of killing enemies. So we'll throw our balls here, have our abilities up, and then when I kill an enemy that has Tesla Bank, they will start to really die and trigger additional electric procs that will kill the others. Let me show that one more time. I'll just throw the balls at these enemies. This enemy gets affected by it, so we'll kill that one. They all lose some HP, but because that enemy died, we get an additional lightning proc from Cathode Current. This has a chance to cascade and kill enemies over and over and over and over and over. It's really cool when it does. It does take a little bit sometimes for it to trigger, because that's just the nature of the way this works. Now, it's actually showing it off against that many enemies that are high level and tanky with a lot of armor is actually bad for this build, because you want to be killing lower health enemies to trigger the electric procs, to make the electric procs hit the targets with the Tesla Bank, and then cascade the Tesla Bank off of that, which triggers more electric procs, which triggers the Tesla Bank, which triggers more electric procs, and it kind of just ends up going in a circle. It's really nice when you have lower health enemies. So I'll show it with the Oregon Battle Group really quick, just to show off that, like, it is better this way. And as you can see, I've already killed a good chunk of these enemies without really thinking about it. And there they go. So yeah. Bank Gyre. And this is a Grendel build that is essentially just Aquablades over his 4. Now, that does mean we don't get to use the damage scaling from his 4. In a perfect world, you would actually replace Naira's Hatred, Vitality, and Surging Blades with triple Umbral. This will put us above the cap for Bellicose. We could drop Augmented and go Persistence, and we will not have to run Canalizing and Brief Respite, and then we have 2 extra slots that we just get to place in here, as well as getting more strength and more health. Essentially what this build is you are going to stay in Bull 4 and run into enemies and they will die from Aquablades, as well as Pulverize. That's it. That's the whole build. It is as simple as it sounds. Now, this doesn't kill that well on Steel Path. However, still get to play the ball and be really fast. Does make it so that doing like low-level Fisher missions is fast, and there's like a whole different way to play it. So there's reasons to do it. But essentially, you're going to just run through enemies using the catapult augment, tossing them, and also applying slash to them. It's funny. It's especially funny when the enemies just die when you get close to them, but also get launched. Now, when they're shooting you, you will be triggering the Nourish explosion, which will prime them. So this is actually like not a great showcase for it, because genuinely we are getting less damage because of it. And my companion is priming this enemy, so we kind of see it do damage here. But again, you get to just be Grendel, which, if anybody hasn't seen Grendel, like, this is how fast he is. He's very fast. Definitely, if you've never played Grendel, you should. He's really fun. So we'll show this build in a mission really quick. Okay, now that we're actually going to get shot here, we will trigger the nourish effect quite often. And these enemies will slowly die. You don't want to make sure your stomach is constantly full. This makes you bigger so that you're actually hitting more enemies and playing pinball. It's very strong, surprisingly. Now you can use the catapult augment, which I'm using just because I think it's fun. I don't think it's actually particularly good for this build, but it's too fun, so it's never leaving my build. So again, yeah, literally we just stay in ball form. Originally the idea was to use the Surging Blades augment and be able to like recast it in ball form like a bunch, but that doesn't work, unfortunately. We can't cast subsumed abilities in the ball form, which is a bit disappointing, to say the least. Otherwise, it's fine. The build actually genuinely does kill stuff, which is something I didn't really expect when I put this build together, as I kind of wanted to use this strictly as like a relic build. Like, that is an Xmas enemy that just kind of died. And if you have like an Xmas enemy that doesn't have overguard, you can like put them in your stomach and then just spam nourish, and it will kill everything in your stomach. Oh yeah, look at all of those slash procs just doing damage from Aquablades. This is Masochist Rhino. Essentially, this is a very high strength build with high range, with some duration. Obviously, we are running Energize and Equilibrium here. I think you might be able to drop Energize if you're playing properly, but the energy is genuinely kind of tight, so try both if you do put this build together. The reason why it's really high strength is to get the multiplier here from the damage multiplier. Now you're also going to get an armor multiplier, which is going to make your iron skins larger, which is kind of cool. And then we multiply the damage from Defy with Roar. Now the reason why it's on Rhino is because of the base Roar that is not decreased by the subsume. You can also just put this on Wukong and it'll work just as well. You would just need to subsume Roar into it. But at a certain point you don't actually need Roar because enemies kind of do enough damage. That being said, I'm in the Simulacrum. It's weird in the Simulacrum, but we will show it really quick, and then I'll show it in a real mission. So this is just 20 Corrupted Heavy Gunners, level 230 Steel Path, and now, with them hitting me, it's genuinely doing actually an amount of damage, which the numbers are showing really strange, but you get the gist of it. 230k with like very little build up, you know? It works. It like surprisingly works. Now, just to show this in a regular mission, I like testing in this mission because it is the highest baseline enemy level that you can get. Okay, so we've hit Roar, and then we're gonna hit Iron Skin, and now we'll Defy. And you can see that I genuinely nuked every enemy that was within range, which is really cool. With enough Roar, the damage of this Defy genuinely stacks really quickly. And again, the Roar is really for these lower levels, because at a certain point, like, enemies will be doing such a large amount of damage to you that Defy just kills anyway. Masochist Rhino just loves to be shot. Only downside, you tend to knock enemies over, which causes them to not shoot you. So sometimes you do have to wait for your enemies to get back up before recasting Defy. But yeah, it's actually kind of a fun build. It is all revolving around taking as much damage as possible. So yeah, anyways, thank you for watching. I'm gonna try to work on a video with all of my daily diver builds. So the ones that I typically play when I, go to do any mission, I will just pick up a character, specific characters, and then I will play those. Those are the builds I want to talk about. I think it's like Nova and Ember, Wisp, Gauss, that kind of stuff. Ones that I can just be like, okay, I'm good with this in this mission. I can do everything, no problem. So we'll talk about those in the next one, I think. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.